I got a strange feeling history is going to prove the man right again.
And you just said that on camera. This going viral.
Ape Nation, thank you for helping me pass 200 subscribers. If you haven't subscribed yet, hopefully I can earn it today. Ape Nation, what's going on? It is Saturday, June 26th, 2021. And I want to discuss a couple things today while we're here over a weekend. Not having to look at the charts or lines. I want to talk about Dr. Michael Burry and what he's been tweeting since he came back. For those of you who don't know, Dr. Michael Burry is the gentleman from The Big Short who basically called the 2008 financial crash about 2 years before it actually happened. And he recently returned to Twitter for 8 days in June after he deleted his account back in early April. Now, it says here in this article, and I got this article from Markers Insider, it's Big Short investor Michael Burry warned against buying meme stocks and crypto and predicted the mother of all crashes during his brief Twitter return. Here are the 10 best tweets. And I want to point out two of them especially. So number 2, he stated, all hype speculation is doing is drawing in retail before the mother of all crashes. Not the mother of all squeezes, the mother of all crashes. FOMO, parabolas don't resolve sideways. When crypto falls from trillions or meme stocks fall from tens of billions, hashtag Main Street losses will approach the size of countries. History ain't changed. So he's talking about this being that retail investors are going to be the ones who are going to lose out when this mother of all crashes happens, that he's predicting that's going to occur in the near future. He's not saying when exactly. He just thinks that we are on the bubble is ready to pop right now. But because my investors revolted, I was completely out of the trade before any bailouts, and I hated the bailouts too. AIG should have been allowed to fail, and Goldman Sachs with it. Today's narratives would be very different. So I think we can interpret this and say that he's saying back in 2008, basically, the government gave bailouts to major banks and insurers during the financial crisis. And I think what he's pointing to is that ain't going to happen this time around. And I believe that these new SEC filings that are coming into effect and being proposed are a direct correlation with Michael Burry's presumption. Now let's talk about that. So, as I'm sure most of you are aware, we already had the one of the more major SEC filings passed last week. It went into effect, I believe, on Thursday. So we haven't really seen the fruits of that yet, and I can see that in the ape community. People were expecting a lot to happen over that, once that came into effect. But I think that we just need to take a little patience here with that. I think eventually that will make a difference. I think people just hyped it up too much, and that's a big problem with this movement in general, is with YouTube and everything else. There's just a lot of hype around a lot of things. And, people get other people excited and amped up. And then when it doesn't come to fruition, it's a big letdown, it's a disappointment, and it's playing with people's emotions. And that's how the hedge funds are filthy rich constantly, because that is how they manipulate the market with things like this. So something to bring up, though, is SEC, a new filing that just went up for proposal, is 011 or 011. And on page 6, there's 54 pages. You can go to the DTCC website if you'd like to look this up for yourself. It's 54 pages of rulings. So, market disruption events. And Rule 38. It contains provisions that identify the events or circumstances that would be considered a market disruption event, including, for example, events that lead to the suspension or limitation of trading or banking in the markets in which the DTC operates, or the unavailability or failure of any material payment, bank transfer, wire, or securities settlement systems. Under the force majeure rule, During the pendency of a market disruption event, DTC would be entitled to suspend the provision of any or all services and take or refrain from taking or require members to take or refrain from taking any actions DTC considers appropriate to address, alleviate, or mitigate the event and facilitate the continuation of DTCC services as may be practicable. So what are they saying here? Well, guys, this is basically saying that at any point, if the DTCC and now the SEC, at any point they feel that a market maker or a hedge fund or anyone that they used to say would be too big to fail or too big to jail, they're basically saying if you are in or about to cause a major market disruption, an event that something similar to, say, the dot-com crash or the 2008 financial crash, if they can see this coming down the road, they can take appropriate steps in order for you to stay in the DTCC, to basically liquidate all of your assets and to stabilize the economy so that there is not a collapse of the banking and, settlement systems. So I think that Dr. Burry is right on point here. They know what's going on. They are keeping an eye on things, and they are taking the necessary steps, even though, like, we're not seeing the thing with, 005 come into fruition right away. They are taking the necessary steps to make sure that this event will be managed and not get out of control and cause another collapse on top of everything else we have going on right now, coming out of the pandemic and inflation and job reports and the whole nine. This economy and country and world pretty much can't afford a disruption event to be caused by a couple rich guys that have really big companies and huge holdings. So I think that we can take a little faith in the fact that the SEC and the DTCC seem to be taking steps, working towards getting this right and fixing the broken system that is Wall Street. Ape Nation, I truly believe that Dr. Michael Burry is back on the scent of an event that could be coming. When he says the market's on a knife's edge, I truly believe that. I mean, look at all the stuff that we have exposed, all of the crap with the dark pools and FTDs and naked shorting and all of the leverage and margin that is out there right now. Over $850 billion, the most ever in history. We have totally exposed the corruption of Wall Street. And I think that we are going to be the pin that pops that bubble that he's talking about. Now, I don't think it's a coincidence that all of a sudden this week we have one of these proposals pass, 005, and now 011 is up for proposal that's saying, hey, we're going to be able to take control of this. We're not going to let you crash the economy. I don't think those two things are a coincidence. I think Burry sees this coming, and so does everyone else. And I think, guys, this time around, the retail investor is on the right side of history. This mother of all crashes could still happen. But here's the thing with AMC. If that does come, then they will be forced to cover immediately, which will cause AMC to moon. So, as long as we're holding as Ape Nation, we don't get frustrated, let our emotions get in the way, or get scared from a red week, we should be okay. All right, guys, that's all I have for today. Thanks if you made it this far. If you wouldn't mind liking the video and subscribing to the channel. This is Ape Nation. I'm the Massalorian, and I'm out.